some people might say like, what scam is this?
Yeah, correct.
So we really invite people to understand a little bit more.
So you can't say, hey, I think it's a good time to sell, and then you would tell the homeowner, hey, I think it's a good time to sell so that we can make profit from it.
But I have seen some houses where it's like, wow, suddenly got third floor and got no CF. I'm not going to undertake this when I buy it. That is too much of a headache. Klang Valley employees, they actually spend an average of 44 hours a month sitting in traffic.
Welcome back to our second season of Connecting the Dots, where we unravel the complexities of real estate in Malaysia. Today we have a very special guest with us, Sara from UrbanWave. She's going to be here to kick off our new season of season 2. For those listeners who have been listening to our podcast faithfully, we want to thank you for your support. And I think without further ado, I just really want Sara to come on board with us just to share us a little bit about UrbanWave. So Sara, welcome to Connecting the Dots.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
Yes. So Sara, tell us a little bit about UrbanWave.
Okay. Well, UrbanWave is a new home co-ownership scheme for us to help folks who want to live in landed subsale houses in well-loved neighborhoods.
Okay.
So we are powered by our parent company called UrbanMatry.
Okay.
And UrbanMatry is a leading data analytics company.
Right.
So we've been here for a good 10 years. And what we do is we utilize spatial data and advanced analytics, and we provide our clients with insight for urban dynamics, land patterns and developments, things like that. And we're committed to, providing these sort of data and for them to make data-driven decisions. And we want to improve on like city planning and good governance.
Right.
So that's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to and your team to start UrbanWave?
Well, okay, we started, it's been in the works for a while now, but we properly started engaging with people sometime last year.
Right.
And we did a lot of, awareness campaigns at first because home co-ownership is a relatively new concept for people.
Very new.
It is new. It's not new in other parts of the world, but it is the first in Malaysia.
So when you refer to other parts of the world, what are the countries that you have that is already running this and is very popular?
Really, pretty much all over Europe.
Okay.
One of the similar business models that I can draw from is that there is this thing in Australia called Hope Homes, where they do a home co-ownership with essential workers. But this is mostly like a government program. So we are a private company. So it's slightly different.
Okay. It's not even a government-linked company, right?
No, we're not. Okay. So what we do is we want to partner with people who want to stay in these homes. And when we started our awareness campaigns, we started with like small gatherings where we called young professionals who live in the who want to live in the city because they work here, and you might have grown up in neighborhoods in these all old mature neighborhoods, right? And we also invited people like well-known architects, local ones, the likes of Fabian Tan, Louis Shinseng, and they came and we had this thing called the Urban Transformation Series. So we wanted to promote the idea of upcycling buildings. Not necessarily homes first, but just buildings in general. And if you follow like Fabian Tan on Instagram, he's done like a lot of works with transforming all these like terrace houses. Shinseng also worked on buildings like the Rex KL, completely transformed this old cinema into what we know today. So we wanted to encourage people to be more open to this. We wanted to talk to people about how they feel about it. And surprisingly, a lot of people are so on board with it. We talked about architecture, we talked about, the urban development of KL. And then we introduced this idea of UrbanWave. And we got a lot of positive feedback from them because what we found was that so many people have this dream of buying and doing up their own old house, but they find this whole process very daunting. buying to finding the
Just
house.
daunting, it's expensive.
Expensive as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's so difficult for one to even find a good house, or to make a decision on it, and then go through that lengthy home buying process. Especially if you're a first time home buyer, you don't know like what needs to be done,
right.
what payment needs to come in when, and then there's the whole renovation process as well, right?
Correct.
So a lot of people they just shy away from it because they don't have that know-how.
Correct.
And that's when we started to slowly like provide guidance.
Yeah.
Like we really like do a lot of hand holding for people.
Okay.
And for people who are on board with the whole co-ownership thing, we've started to find some good deals on
Yes.
houses, because we don't sell houses ourselves. We actually want to buy together with people. So we go for house viewings,
Okay.
and we actually help them make an offer and go through the whole home buying process. And at the same time, we also started to engage with real estate agents as well, to start and introduce what we do and
That's
how
right.
we can work together.
Yeah.
And we were very pleased because the response we've gotten so far has been very good. We've been well received, and we're just slowly but surely creating this community, I guess. Yeah.
That's right. But I'm just curious that what's the big why behind when your team feels inspired to just start this co-ownership program? And I think one of the main big point that you mentioned is really about upcycling old houses, right?
Right.
So apart from this, is there any reason that why you're so passionate about this project and really the big why behind UrbanWave?
Totally understand.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reason is that, I'm one of the people who have always wanted to do this for myself. I have an architectural background, but also, also I'm a young working professional in KL. I was born and bred in PJ.
Okay.
And now that I've settled down
Yeah.
and I've gotten kids already, I have my parents living here, like 5 minutes away, my cousins, my aunts, we all live around the same area, right?
Okay.
And I've always dreamt of, I can't imagine living
elsewhere.
Yeah. Especially people in PJ, we have that kind of thought, right? So, but we also need the space, right? I currently live in a condo. It's great for, starting out, but once you start to feel a bit claustrophobic, personally, for me, I feel like, okay, it's time for me to get a landed house.
Or when your family is growing,
Yeah,
right?
family is growing, you've got like 1-2 kids already, they're running around. But in PJ, where are you going to get a landed house if it's not a sub-sale one, right?
Correct.
And the problem is, and this is not a unique problem. A lot of people feel this way.
right.
They want to, find a house where they grew up in.
Correct.
But these houses are easily 30 to 40 years old.
Yep.
They need
Easily.
substantial work.
Yes.
They have good structure, structurally very sound. All the columns and beams, everything is really good.
Yep.
But you need significant work on things like roofing,
Correct.
piping,
Yes,
wiring,
that's right.
to make it livable again.
right, yeah.
Right? And the main problem for this whole issue is that you don't have the liquid cash that you need to upcycle and renovate the house.
Okay.
So someone might have the means to secure a home loan, but if you don't have that upfront cash,
That's right.
you can't move into that house because it's very old,
Yes.
right? So that's a main driving force for us.
So I think the real setback or the biggest gap that you see is really the renovation cost that people struggle to pay upfront.
Yeah.
They may be able to actually withdraw EPF to pay the down payment.
Correct.
But that's not enough to actually
Yes.
engage someone to go and do up the house to become livable. And that's
Exactly.
where you come in to fill in that gap, right?
Yeah.
So you are not actually a financial institution
No.
to provide loan,
Right.
but you actually co-owns with the buyer.
Exactly. You're absolutely right, Joanne.
Okay.
We are not alone.
Yeah.
So the money that we give for upfront cash to renovate, we give it in exchange for holding a minority share of the
so
house.
not alone.
No.
Yeah.
So we are co-owning. It's a joint ownership.
Okay.
So both our company entity
Yeah.
and the individual, the homeowner, will own the house together on the SPA title.
Yeah, so your UrbanWave is also in the land title,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the percentage like in terms of co-ownership?
So the percentage depends on how much cash you want to take. It depends, and we actually have a separate contract. When
Okay.
we sign the SPA.
Okay.
We also sign a thing that we call a joint ownership agreement.
Okay.
So we outline all the terms and conditions there. But whatever percentage that of cash you want to take, and it's based on the selling price of the house, UrbanWave will always be the minority shareholder. So we always ensure that the homeowner has majority shares of the house.
Okay.
And not only that, UrbanWave also relinquishes our usage of the house.
Yeah.
We give the homeowner full
Yeah,
usage
so you
rights.
can't suddenly say, hello, I'm the co-owner, so I'm
Exactly.
going to move in right
Yeah.
now, right?
When we say we own the house together, it doesn't mean we're sharing the use of the
Yes,
house.
that's
If I
right.
own
Okay.
30%, doesn't mean like 30%
Yeah.
of this house is
Make sure you reserve one room for me.
exactly.
Okay.
And we're not gonna knock on your door
Yeah,
and
yeah,
say,
yeah.
hi, I'm living in this house as well.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fundamentally on paper.
Okay.
And the whole ecosystem of this UrbanWave is that yes, we give you the upfront cash, but you need to be able to actually secure the house.
Yeah.
If you have the down payment, you get a home loan for it. We sign the SPA together. And upon getting vacant possession,
Yes.
you get the keys to renovate your house. So you actually expedite that process, right? And you are free to renovate however you want
Okay.
and use it however you want,
Okay.
as long as there's no illegal activities.
Yeah,
So
got
make sure that you get your building plan approval,
Yeah.
permit to start
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
and then when you're staying in the house also, you can rent it out as well.
Oh, you can do that?
You can, and you pocket the
Ah.
entire rental income.
I see.
The only time that we actually make, so it's a profit sharing module.
Yeah.
And the only time we actually make a profit is if the homeowner decides to sell the house in the future.
Is there like a lock-in period where the homeowner can't sell within how many years?
Yeah, so in the contract, we do lock in for the first 5 years.
5 years, okay.
Yeah, and the main reason is we also want to avoid high
High
RPGT
PGT, yeah.
tax. Yeah. So after 5 years, you have the option to either, if you want to sell the house, or if you want to continue staying there and maintaining our co-ownership, you can do that.
But I guess the decision to sell, it's not on UrbanWave, but
No.
it's on the homeowner
Right.
themselves.
We
Okay.
only give that initiation to sell to the homeowner.
So you can't say, hey, I think it's a good time to sell, and then you will tell the homeowner, hey, I think it's a good time to sell so that we can make profit from it. Do you do that?
If they want to know, what is the current value, or if they're looking to sell the house, yes, we will look into it. Of course,
Right.
there's a whole, in our contract, there is
Okay.
some prices that we need to follow.
Okay,
lah.
okay.
But we never say, the house is double in price, we must sell it. No, we don't have that power.
Okay.
Because some people want the option of staying there indefinitely,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
But will you make that initiation of a call to just tell, hey, we have double up already. Have you considered, want to sell?
So far, we don't have that in our
Okay.
plans.
Okay.
But even because we're still new,
Yeah.
we have onboarded quite a few people. We do from time to time check on the value, and because we maintain a good relationship with
Yes,
people,
yes.
right? So it's your house that you bought,
Yeah.
it had the value has gone up,
Yeah.
and you haven't even finished your renovation
Yes.
purely because of location, right? Some people
okay.
buy in really good locations, and
Yes.
we strike a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about location, so who makes the decision, the buying decision ultimately? I remember you said that you will also accompany them to go for house viewing,
Yeah.
right? So do you also in the process trying to influence the buyer that, hey, this is a better location, this is a better value house?
Yeah,
Or
we
how
we
do you do
don't
it?
influence them,
Okay.
but we do have a set of requirements that we
Yes,
need to
okay.
meet for the house to be
Okay.
eligible for UrbanWave.
Right.
So firstly, we only look at freehold landed
Okay.
houses,
Okay.
subsale houses. So we don't look at leasehold
And landed only, right?
landed. Yeah, we
Okay.
don't look at stratified,
Right.
purely because they have their management fees and all, so it gets complicated,
Okay.
right? So yeah, freehold landed houses. And it must pass our internal price checker.
Right.
So like I mentioned, we are a data company.
That's right.
We have our own proprietary AI tech
Yeah.
that we just use to make sure that we don't overpay on a house. So
That's right.
because it's on our interest as well.
Yes.
So there are other criteria as well that we prefer, like because we want to look at mature neighborhoods, our guideline is that it must be at least 15 years old.
15 years old.
Yeah.
And location, where do you...
We cover Klang Valley,
Okay.
Penang, and Johor.
Oh,
So we don't say like, oh, we don't look at this neighborhood or that neighborhood.
Okay.
If it's above 15 years old,
Yeah.
most likely the neighborhood is already well established and mature
Yeah,
already. And we also have a guideline for the price range of houses as well. So we typically look at houses that are selling at either from 500K to 1.5 million.
Okay.
But we can consider, like, we do have a margin for that lah.
Yeah.
And the reason why we created this range was because, I mean, honestly, if you can afford a house over 1.5
right,
mil,
that's right.
probably don't need that liquid
Yes,
cash,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah, so we find that this is a good sweet spot,
Yes.
and it helps us also guide the people that we're looking.
And I think this sweet
yeah.
spot is also one of the biggest market share
Yeah.
demographic.
Right,
That
right.
really needs this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
when
right.
we engage with people,
Yeah.
they usually share with us like where is their preferred location and what is their budget.
Okay.
So if we have found anything that is within what they're looking for,
Yeah.
we would recommend it to them. But ultimately, like, it is the decision of the homeowner and the home
Okay.
buyer, because we actually very much prefer if they come to us and say,
Yeah.
I found this house already.
Yeah.
Is it eligible for
Yeah,
UrbanWave?
yeah.
Because you're the one staying in the house.
Correct.
So, you know, we find that this whole home buying process, home hunting process, is very emotionally driven. Like,
It is.
when you know it's the right house, you just
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So when they have found it themselves, they are more likely to actually go through and say, yeah, I want this
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
How do I, make it happen for me? And yeah, that's when
Okay.
we talk about like the terms and conditions
Yeah.
of the co-ownership, and we explore it from then on.
I see. So I think because we are from real estate agent perspective, when home buyer comes to tell us, okay, I'm looking for a double story in PJ, so they are the one that will tell us to go and hunt for them.
Yeah.
So what about your side? Do they come and also engage with you and say, hey, can you go and look for houses for me, or they have to go and look for themselves and then call you to come along? How does it work?
So it's at this stage,
Yeah.
because we're still relatively new, we do a little bit of both. So for some people who really do need the extra bit of help, that's the reason why we are also engaging with real estate agents.
Yeah.
So, if we want if someone is looking for PJ, we already have our, our friends on that side who cover and say, hey, can you help out? We
Yeah.
have this guy who's looking at this is this. And, it's what makes the whole community work so well, right?
see.
But at the same time, like, yeah, if it really depends on the person as well. If we see that, they prefer to go see themselves, okay, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go view the house yourself. If you don't want us to follow, as long as you share with us and we check whether it's eligible
Okay.
or not,
Okay.
you're really free to be as independent as you want.
Yeah. When you say that you have to check the eligibility, right? What kind of information does the buyer or the real estate agent needs to provide to you so that you feel that, okay, all these are eligible? Is it just
So it'll be freehold,
okay?
more than 15 years old,
Yeah.
sub-sale landed,
Yeah.
within that price range, 500K to 1.5.
1.5.
So if they meet that criteria, we actually ask them, okay, what is the detail of the house,
Okay.
so that we can do our internal
Yes.
checker.
Yes.
So we usually need like the address,
Okay.
and the land built up,
Yeah.
and the house built up as well.
Okay, will you also because I think some houses are like what you mentioned, is really old, 40 to 50 years old. And many times these kind of old houses, they may not have the CF,
Right,
So
right.
how would you, handle this kind of property? Do you say, no, we will not, invest or co-own this kind of property? Or, I'm just thinking from your side, how would you approach this kind of situation?
It is really a case-to-case basis. I have seen some
Yeah.
houses where they have no CF, they've done an
Yes,
extension.
that's right.
But if it's minor things, and then we know that when the homeowner comes, they want to completely
Yeah,
redo,
yeah.
and they are okay with taking this on,
Okay.
and we feel that we advise them, make sure that you get your architect, aware of this situation.
Yes.
Go to your local authorities
Yeah.
and check.
Yeah.
Go through if you have that capacity, sure, it's not a deal
Okay,
breaker.
okay.
But I have seen some houses where it's like, wow, suddenly got third floor and got no CF. I'm not going to undertake this when I buy it.
it's too high
That
of a
is
risk.
too much of a
Yeah.
headache.
Yeah.
So really case to case basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of the renovation cost, who determines how much to spend, or is there like a benchmark where you tell your okay, how do you call your homeowner? Partner?
Right.
Is it a partner? Or?
Partner client, I
Okay,
guess.
your
Yeah.
client. So how do you determine that? Because you said that this entire home, it's decided by your client, right? How he wants to place the living room, what kind of color he wants to paint. But in terms of budget, who sets the budget?
Right. So when we buy the house together, we set a maximum offer price already. All right.
Okay.
So we go through our internal price checker, and okay, if it passes, we have a fixed
Alright.
amount lah. Let's go in at this price. Or
Okay.
if the selling price is already meets, it
Yeah.
already passes our system, we say it's really up to you as a home buyer. If you have a maximum price that is lower, we go with that. So sometimes people want us to make the negotiations with the agent. So that is our
see.
guideline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And for the renovation
Yeah.
itself, it depends on their appetite as well. So we have some people who get on board with UrbanWave and like, okay, I take 20%. I bought the house at 500K.
Yes, so 20% lah.
Yeah, so I'm taking 20%, so I get 100K for the
Yes.
house. So that is my ultimate budget. So I'm going to use 100K and do out however much I can.
I see.
Some people might have a little bit more savings
Yep.
and like, okay, I'm going to buy this house and renovate it. But if I go with UrbanWave, I get another 100K and I can maybe really splash out a little bit more. So it depends on your appetite as well.
Okay, so there's no rule of thumb of, for example, UrbanWave is prepared to only pay 20% of the ultimate agreed purchase price. Is there like a ballpark figure that you
No.
allocate for each house? No.
No. So it is a maximum of 20% of the selling price of the
Okay,
house that
got
we can give to someone.
20%.
Yeah.
And does that also determine that amount of shares that you own?
Right.
Ah.
So if you take 20%, we hold 40% of the house
Got it.
in shares. And the reason is because you're taking a home loan, right? So UrbanWave also takes a risk onto you. So it's a win-win situation, and potentially if, like, knock on wood, if the homeowner goes default, it's also a lose-lose because, the money that we give is not a loan, right?
Correct.
So worst case scenario, if the homeowner ever goes default
Yep.
and you need to lelong your house,
Yes. So what happened?
so if the bank needs to auction the
Yeah.
house and they make a certain amount from it, we take our portion,
Okay.
and the homeowner takes whatever that's left. If for any case that there is no portion for us to take, or if it's less than our portion, and the homeowner gets nothing from the lelong
Yeah.
of the house, right? The advantage here is they don't have any debt onto us.
I
So
see.
even
so
if
you're
we
not
take
a creditor.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
So even though like we take, it's a loose
yeah,
situation for us.
yeah.
We take a risk, right?
Yes, yes,
so we
yes.
don't manage to gain back what we've given,
Yeah.
but they also they don't owe us anything to repay as
Understand,
well.
understand.
So that's the risk that we're taking.
I see. And I don't know, because UrbanWave, this concept is pretty new in the whole of our country, right? Do people feel that macam scammy lah, do you get that kind of feedback, or
We
how
get
do
a
you
lot of-
educate?
Yeah, we get a lot of curious people. Some people might say like, "What scam is this?"
correct.
So we really invite people to understand a little bit more. Some people might have a stigma, or even maybe from like the older generations of like, you want to share your house with the
Yes,
company.
yes.
So we were trying to re-educate people.
Okay.
So it's we try to tell people like, actually, if you take a home loan, the bank actually owns your house until you actually pay it off.
That's
so
right.
you're also sharing it with a company in that way, right? So we're trying to like shift your perspective on sharing a house
Yeah.
with us. And at the same time, we are very transparent with,
Yeah.
look, we are giving you full usage of the house. We are not your landlords. We can't like knock on your door and say
Yes.
that you have to vacate the house,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want
yeah.
to sell it.
Okay.
And we also want to highlight like the advantages that you get, because you have financial flexibility if you don't take an additional loan, the alternative solution that we want to create for people is that if you don't want to take on an additional Reno loan, or even worse, some people consider markup loans, which is illegal.
Yes, that's right.
So we want to
Correct.
create alternatives for that, Focus on your monthly home loan commitment. This additional money that you give is not a loan. Yes, you share the house,
Yes.
you share it on paper,
Correct.
but you have full usage and you get to renovate and live in the house,
Yeah.
close to town,
Yeah,
close
yeah,
to your
yeah.
family.
Yeah.
And, we also share a lot of data and statistics with people as well. Like Joanne, did you know that the Department of Statistics, they shared in 2020 that 1.9 million houses
1.9,
that are purchased, that are owned already, are actually uninhabited. No one is staying in these houses.
In the whole Malaysia?
In whole Malaysia.
Wow.
That's 2% of houses that are bought. No one is living in it. And you know what happens to vacant houses, right? No one is staying there. It goes into a state of disrepair, you know,
Correct.
and the house value goes down.
Yeah.
So that is what we want to actually try to tackle as well.
Right. Okay.
And not only that, you know, Klang Valley employees, they actually spend an average of 44 hours a month sitting in traffic. Did you know that?
Correct.
You just came back.
I did.
You just got stuck in traffic this morning.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people, you know, when they want a landed house, but they can't, you know, afford to live, you know, closer, it's because of this.
Correct.
And this is where UrbanWave steps in. You know, we want to bridge this gap.
Correct.
Because we know that there are people with these needs looking for a house, but they can't afford it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there are all these vacant houses.
That's right.
Just waiting to be lived in, taken up and been, you know, upcycled.
Yes.
So we want to bridge that. We want to make it affordable for people to be able to do this for
Do you
themselves.
have a number for just Klang Valley? How many houses?
I don't, but I know that the highest concentration is obviously Klang Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know the reason? Did your data team try to understand, like, why are all these houses...
So the reason this happens is purely because people can't afford to renovate it. It's either we inherit it from our parents, these houses that are at least 30, 40 years old.
Correct.
But it's gone through so much wear and tear that it needs to be redone again to make it livable again.
Yes.
But I don't have that liquid cash. So I can't do it, and I can't live there. So I live somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I want to sell this house.
Yes.
Yet people
value
are
is
not.
so-
The value has gone down,
Correct.
or like people are not going to take it up because they also don't have that liquid cash to renovate.
That's right. So how realistic is 20%? Is it really enough to make a very, very old abandoned house to be livable?
So
Like, how realistic is this budget?
we are actually challenging ourselves to do it. We actually found a really nice house in Kelana Jaya.
Okay.
And it's been vacant for a very long time.
Okay.
And the price was really good.
Okay.
So we were very excited to share this with
Yes.
people. We did the agent was very accommodating. Like, let's do a group viewing.
Okay.
People came and see the
Okay.
house. But what we found was that people also got a bit like, they were also quite scared of tackling this. They're like, can 100K actually cover this?
Yes.
What kind of, budget do I need to look
Correct.
into? And I think it's also like people didn't really have the imagination to see like what the potential
the
was.
possibilities.
So we decided, why don't we do this for ourselves?
Okay.
So that's a project that we're currently undertaking,
Right.
and we're sharing it on our social media platforms.
So when you say do it yourself, meaning UrbanWave is the one that buy the whole thing?
We bought the house.
I see.
Because it was such a good deal. We were like, actually, this house is really nice, you know?
Okay.
We saw potential.
Right.
And whether we can do it under 100K is something that we are doing right now. So we are talking to contractors.
Okay.
We're going through like the
So
quotation
SPA has
with
been
them.
signed?
SPA has been signed.
Wow, okay.
But right now we don't have the keys yet.
Yeah,
So as
okay.
soon as we
Got
get the
it.
keys, we want to start renovation already.
Okay.
And we're going to see, we want to show people, okay, 100K
possible.
can do what with a house like this? We are very transparent with that. And at the end of the renovation, we're still going to do a home co-ownership. So we'll share that on our social
so whoever
media.
wants to buy it.
They can join to
Yeah.
live in this house in co-ownership with us.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's something that we haven't actually revealed. There's
Yeah.
no big reveal yet, but
Yeah.
we have been updating
Right.
our followers on the house that we're buying.
Oh.
But yeah, even like the whole home buying process
Yeah.
is such a learning curve for
Okay.
everyone on board as well.
Yeah.
So we're sharing with them, actually we found out that this house has it's a freehold with
With
state
consent,
consent.
yes.
Yeah.
I thought
So what is
consent,
that?
yes.
Yeah. So we're explaining that based on what we've we've learned, based on what our legal team has advised us,
Yes.
and we're pretty much like, let's just go through it as a
Okay.
home buyer. Let
Okay.
everyone see how we're doing it.
I see.
Yeah.
So do you have like panel of contractors and architect that you know that is able to meet this kind of budget, that are honest, reliable?
We are building it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say they are our panel.
Okay.
Because we want to empower the homeowners to really find
they
their
can
own designers.
engage.
They can engage. So we
Oh.
have a few people who ask like, so if I do co-ownership with you, I
Yeah.
have to use your contractor.
Yeah, does it mean-
No, that's
I
not the
see.
case. We can recommend based on the
Okay.
people that we have worked with, if you
Alright.
don't have any. But really, it is entirely up to you who you want to employ as your designer, your contractor, your architect, as long as you're doing it properly. So
in a sense,
yeah.
UrbanWave don't really micromanage
We
the whole
don't.
thing at
Yeah,
all.
because we find that if you are the homeowner and you
Okay.
really take ownership of the
Yeah.
house, you take care of the house better as well. We could very well be like a super landlord or a super developer and buy 100 old houses and do ourselves. But we don't want to be landlords.
I see.
We want people to take ownership of the house.
Right.
Yeah.
And then how would the billing be done if, let's say, the homeowner engage their own contractors? So how do they bill you so that you can pay the contractors, because renovation costs come from UrbanWave, right?
We give the cash up front as soon as you get the keys. So you get the whole lump sum.
And then you let the homeowner to decide what to do with the money.
Correct.
Oh.
So even in our contract, we have stated there that it is the renovation is at your own cost.
Right.
And the reason is because we want to make sure that the homeowner knows that this
Okay.
amount of cash, it is up to them how they
Okay.
want to divide and use it up.
So the disbursement is a one lump sum, one
Correct.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
We even have some people. So we have a young couple who bought a house in PJ.
Yeah.
And what they are doing is that they are actually using. They obviously have the down payment.
Okay.
They've covered that when they
Yes,
signed the SPA.
yes.
And they are also withdrawing from EPF
Yeah.
as well. But what they're also doing is that they want to use a portion of the cash that we give
Yeah.
to reimburse their savings.
Oh.
So that they're free to do that as well.
see.
As long as you do some improvements to the house,
Okay.
to your taste, to
Yeah.
your liking, and you're making the house livable again.
I see.
It is you as the homeowner who's staying in the house that is actually bringing value
Okay.
to us. Yeah.
Right. Then I just very curious about the legality. So this amount of money that you're paying for your client, in the legal terms, what does this payment for? Like, what's this consideration?
So this amount of cash
Yeah.
is for us in exchange for us to hold that share of the house.
Ah,
Yeah.
That's it, actually.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want with the money.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, what if the person bought the house but didn't intend to live in,
Uh-huh.
and then just take your cash and then just let the property sit in the market again?
So we
how
do
do
have
you-
in our contract that you do need to show
Right.
some renovation works within 3 to 6 months in the
see.
contract. So the whole premise of UrbanWave is that we keep a very close relationship with our partner clients.
Yeah.
So it's not just after you buy the house,
Yeah.
you give the keys, you get the money, like it's bye bye. We continuously have conversations.
see.
We make sure that like the couple that I said,
Yeah.
they want to withdraw
Yeah.
their EPF.
Right.
So if they have any trouble with that,
Yeah.
because EPF also from our experience, this couple,
Yeah.
they were like, oh, we cannot withdraw from EPF because they said that it's with a company entity.
Oh.
And then we're like, okay, but it's been done before, so it's okay. One of our representative actually went to EPF with them,
I
explained the
see.
whole situation, and they were like, okay, this is pretty straightforward. It can be done. So they managed to withdraw.
I think people are just not aware enough.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
just the homeowners, home buyers are not
Yeah.
aware. It's all the other parties as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, for sure,
right?
People
So
find it very strange. Huh?
correct,
Yeah.
correct, and even banks with their bank
Yeah.
loans as well. So with our co-ownership,
Yeah.
the homeowner needs to apply for a third-party
Yeah.
home loan.
That's right.
And not a lot of banks are aware of
Mm.
this situation. So we actually have our partners with Alliance Bank, who is
Okay.
very well versed with
Yeah.
this, and we actually go through the whole
Understand.
process with them.
Understand.
And we are also looking to onboard with other banks as well.
Oh,
Yeah, in
so
the near future.
In other words, just to simplify, is UrbanWave is a co-owner of the property, but not a co-borrower. just want to make it
Correct.
upfront.
Yes.
Correct.
So if you are able to secure the home loan, if you can pass the approval and
Yeah.
everything, we can buy the house together where we give the cash,
Okay.
we top up lah
Yeah.
for the renovation
Yeah.
purposes.
Do you also have clients where they went ahead to place the earnest deposit and sign the SPA, then only they come and look for you? Do
So
you do that?
we get a lot of people who say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I just bought a subsale house
Yeah.
and I want to do my renovation
Ah.
now," and we're like, it gets a bit complicated.
Okay.
So we really try to we try to make it very clear
Okay.
that the best time to engage with UrbanWave is before you buy a house. So after you've bought a house. The only way, because it's a transfer on
Of
the
title.
SPA, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you would have to consider a refinancing.
Yes.
Only, I mean, if your bank allows.
Yeah.
And it gets a bit, it's like a second transfer.
Correct.
So we tell people, unless your bank allows for a refinancing, unfortunately, we can't onboard with UrbanWave.
So
lah.
they must come and look for you before they place the earnest deposit.
Right,
I mean,
right.
that's the best.
Earnest deposit actually still okay.
Yeah, SPA.
SPA, yeah. So if they've actually booked the house and then they
Yeah.
found out about us, okay, we can still go in.
Yeah.
That we are racing against the clock
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there is a
Correct,
certain number of
correct.
days for the
Yeah,
SPA.
to sign SPA.
But if you can, if we can check whether the house is eligible.
Yes.
And you are okay with the terms and conditions, you go through our contract, and then our lawyers can get involved and assist in the SPA preparation, then we
Okay.
can get on board.
So actually, how many houses have you all co-owned?
So because we
Since
just
you started,
started
yeah.
last year, we have about 10 so
Wow.
far, and a lot more actively,
Yeah.
like in the house buying or
Okay.
house viewing process.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of leads at many different stages. And we are also looking at this thing where we are what we call UrbanWave Renew,
Okay.
where we also consider houses that have been fully paid off already.
Oh.
So if, let's say you, like I mentioned just now, if you
Yeah.
inherited a
Yes,
house,
yes,
right?
yes.
And you don't plan to sell it,
yeah.
we can actually do a co-ownership
Okay.
where we actually give a higher percent of cash for the equity. So we can actually give 40 for 40% because there is no home loan involved.
Yes.
So there's less risk.
Less risk, yeah.
Yeah. So we do that.
see.
And we have people who contact us like, I have my parents' house, it's in so and so place. So we check whether it's eligible for
Yeah.
UrbanWave. We do our same
Yeah,
price checker
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And we go through the SPA together with them. So we've got our legal team if they want to use our
So
lawyers.
this is already like live, going
Yes,
live already.
yeah.
Ah, okay, that's very interesting. So I find that, wow, actually you guys really do add a lot of values for homeowners that does not have liquid cash and
Thank
is
you.
looking to really own something in Klang Valley, especially the landed property. And we know that landed property is so scarce
Yeah.
nowadays to find good value one. So I really like that. And what about the after sale? So you mentioned that it's actually a community, like you view your clients as a community, right?
Yeah.
What happens after they live in, and how, in a sense, what kind of touch point you have with your clients to maintain this relationship?
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. One of the options, like I
Yeah.
said, is that you can sell in the future, right? So we have a statistic that says that people usually sell or upgrade their house every 8 to 10 years.
Correct.
So
That's right.
we are banking on that as well.
Okay.
So and the nature of the kind of houses or the budget that a lot of people that we talk to tend to be in like maybe 600K to under 1 million. That's the majority of people. And if they're looking at certain areas, it means that it's most probably intermediate terrace
Yes,
units.
yes.
So the bulk of the people that we get on board buy
Yeah.
these kind of
Yeah,
houses.
correct.
And naturally, because they're starting a family, their
Yes.
family grows,
Yeah.
they would want to upgrade in
Yeah.
the future, right? And we are buying at or under market value
Correct.
in really, really great neighborhoods. And we're giving money on top of that to renovate.
Correct.
And you're staying in the house.
Yes.
This house is primed to appreciate. So say in 10 years time, we find that your house is doubled in price and you also want to,
Yes.
you need to upgrade.
Correct.
You need to find a bigger
Yeah.
house. That's when, like we said, it's a win-win situation,
yes.
So, okay, you decide that you want to sell the house, you sell it,
Okay.
and whatever home loan that you still have, you settle it. That net profit is what we will split based on the percentages that we will own. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is in the long run how we.
But because
we
UrbanWave is still
maintain.
very new, you have not reached there yet, right?
Correct,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So what are the challenges that you are facing right now as UrbanWave, as a company?
Right.
Just curious.
So we've got a few challenges,
Okay.
obviously, and it is mostly to do with the people that we're talking to and the misconceptions that they
Correct.
have. One of the things that you brought up is like,
Yeah.
what if people already bought the house? So yeah, that's one of the challenges,
Okay.
is to engage with people before they buy a house.
Yes.
And especially if they know that they need help with the
Yeah,
renovation, right? So that's something that we would ideally like to tackle, like
Okay.
if we can get people to be more aware of
Yeah.
the stage that we should be
Yes.
going into.
Yes,
That's
correct.
one thing. Another challenge that we have is, I guess, helping to find the right house for the people.
Okay.
Because, like I mentioned, we're not real estate
Yeah.
agents. We don't get a commission
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah,
sale of the
that's
house.
right.
But we do spend a lot of time sharing these houses,
Yes.
going to the house
Yes.
viewing with them. So, and we find that like I said, the whole home buying process is so emotionally driven. Like, you need to really know that this is the house for
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's very resource intensive for us. And at the end of the day, we don't even know whether they will end up doing a co-ownership with
Yeah,
us.
do they need to sign something before they go into this house hunting journey?
We really can't make them sign anything
Oh.
because it's a lot of barrier for them to consider, right?
I mean, maybe a letter of intention that, you know?
We do have this thing where we call a term sheet.
Okay.
But it's more to like, okay, if you sign this, you bring home like the main core terms and conditions of the the
Okay.
contract for you to digest.
Yeah.
And it's also like a mutual no shop clause lah.
Okay.
So if you sign this term
Yeah.
sheet, you promise that you won't buy without us.
Okay, so there's something that they need to sign.
Yeah, but it only is like valid for like maybe a week or two. So if it expires and then you still intend to buy, it's
Yeah.
still on the market,
Yeah.
then because we don't have any exclusivity with the house.
And they don't need to pay you any, like, I don't know, like deposit.
No, because we're not selling the house. We want to buy it with
Exactly, but I can
people.
imagine that, you have to spend your Sunday, looking for houses with them.
Well, that's the
And then they say,
nature
"Oh,
of-
I'm not gonna buy with UrbanWave." Then, 2
Yeah.
months later, they went to buy a house.
Well, for us, I mean, it's all about connecting with people, right? So that's the reason why we have our like house viewings on Saturdays. We want to
Wow.
talk to people. Some of
Okay.
them, we actually have some people who are
Yeah.
not interested in the house. They just want to meet the team. They want to see if we're legit
Yeah,
or
yeah,
not.
yeah,
And we're like,
for sure.
okay,
Yeah.
come,
Yeah,
meet
yeah.
us, because
makes total sense. Yeah.
in the long run, it does pay off.
Yes.
Because even we've had people who, at the end of the day, okay, they say that we're not going to buy with you lah, but they recommend their friends and
Yeah,
family.
correct.
So good service always rewards you
Pays
in
off.
one way or
Yeah,
another.
that's right, for
So
sure.
we don't regret doing
Okay.
all these things. And after all, it's the nature of a
Yeah,
startup
yeah,
company
yeah.
like this,
so
right?
how big is your team?
Our team is quite small.
Okay.
I think we are 6 people
Okay.
strong, but we are part of a much bigger team
Yes.
in UrbanWave, of
Because
course.
you have a parent company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
that's good.
lean into all the other departments. We've got our data company, our tech company. It's a very nice big family.
So is there a specific person that, let's say for example, today a home buyer contacts UrbanWave, then they will lead to a specific person that, deals with all
Yeah.
the leads and things like that?
Not all the leads, so
Okay.
all of us do everything.
Okay.
So we have our own, like if it's my day to contact
Yeah.
or to receive new leads,
Oh.
that's the people I
So you
talk to.
also have to go to the front liner and
so
deal
I
with the
follow
leads.
if I have this person
Yeah.
and they talking to me, then I lead them the whole way through until they buy the house. Yeah.
Ah, Okay. So they only speak to one person. You will not transfer this project to another colleague. Okay, now you handle this.
We might,
Okay.
if let's say if we go for a group viewing
Yeah.
and they meet my colleagues,
Yeah.
and if they gel well, if they
Okay.
gel better, why not?
Yeah.
Like, because everyone has different like specialties, and
Yes.
we on a human level, so we connect
Yeah.
differently as well.
Yeah.
So like for me, like I might connect better to other people who has like a young family.
Correct.
or like another colleague of mine might be more like, oh, she knows this area more, so people might gravitate to her for different reasons.
That's
so
right.
we try to lean in on everyone's strengths, really.
Yes. So I think time is running out.
Okay.
So much to actually ask you, but unfortunately, because of our tech limitation, we only can do it below 1 hour. So just last thing that I wanted to ask is, what would you maybe is, how can the listeners actually reach out to you, number one? Number two is, for example, if today they want to buy a house, like now, can they actually also call you for a last minute viewing and things like that? Is it very quick that you can make a decision whether you want to go into a co-home?
Definitely. As long as we have the information we need, we can make a quick eligibility test on the house, and we can advise them already.
Right.
So anyone who is interested in getting to know us better, we have a website called UrbanWave.ai.
UrbanWave.ai, okay.
Yeah. And it's the same UrbanWave.ai across the platforms like Facebook and Instagram, and that's where you will find our phone number to reach us out. So we are very accessible, very reachable.
Okay, very good.
And
very good. All right. Thank you so much, Sara.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening for this episode. I hope that you actually learned something about Urban Wave. You can just Google them, urbanwave.ai.
Yes.
Thank you so much. See you next one. Bye.
Bye.